I'm Fred Turner. I'm a professor at Stanford University, and I'm the author of a book called From Counterculture to Cyberculture. And that book traces the impact of a group that we would never have thought of being associated with technology, the counterculture, on how we think about computers. And it focuses particularly on Stewart Brand, who is the co-founder of the Whole Earth Catalog, one of the seminal documents of the counterculture in the 1960s, but also the man who established the WELL, the Whole Earth Electronic Link, the first community known as a virtual community. And he and a group of journalists and entrepreneurs around him, a group of counterculturalists, brought us some of the following words: personal computer, electronic frontier, and virtual community. They helped define the personal computer revolution and later the internet revolution in terms set by the American counterculture and its utopian ideals. Norbert Wiener is a fascinating man. You know, he was a professor at MIT during World War II. He was a mathematician, a child genius, very much a prodigy, not necessarily the most socially competent person on the planet, but really a wonderful sort of collaborative man. But together they began to understand that it was possible to communicate, to bring together mechanical and biological systems, and to develop a mathematical language that would do that, and ultimately to develop a technology, computing, that would help do that. Wiener was the man who really coined the term cybernetics. Cybernetics is, I think Wiener thought it was going to be a universal discipline, a universal science, the science of everything. Because he thought in mathematics he had found a language that literally spoke about everything. Everything being the human body, being the machine, but also being social systems. You know, Wiener talked about cybernetics as the science of control through communication. And if you think about that, it's an interesting shift from other kinds of control. During World War II, America certainly, but I'd say the world in general, was wrestling with a kind of instrumental force, the instrumental force of armies, the instrumental force of raw power deployed materially. Communication offered an alternative to that. Communication offered a vision of people organizing themselves, regulating themselves through processes of feedback, reaching out, testing a little bit, then pulling back, making changes. This idea of a self-regulating world governed through communication rather than force is an idea, I think, at the heart of cybernetics. And it's part of the reason that he became so appealing to the counterculture. So fast forward by about 30 years, he coined the term cybernetics, I believe, in '49. Fast forward now to about 1968, 1969, 20 years ahead. And we have an American counterculture that is, officially at least, not interested in technology, certainly not interested in nuclear warfare, not interested in the military-industrial complex, and yet they were riveted by Norbert Wiener. Norbert Wiener was a hero to the counterculture, and particularly that wing of it that I've called the new communalist wing. That wing hoped to change the world by building new communities, building communes, building communities of consciousness oriented around communication and governing themselves through shared communication rather than through top-down bureaucracy and force. For those folks, Norbert Wiener's book, The Human Use of Human Beings, which was his second book on cybernetics, as well as his first book, Cybernetics, really set the theoretical stage. They said, you can organize society around communication, around checks and balances, and develop a much more egalitarian, much less hierarchical, much less bureaucratic world. And that suited the children of 1968 just fine.